Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to day 6 of 31 Days of Horror. DBougie86 here again. Now, the film I got for you guys today is the newest release from Real Gore Releasing, which is a company that I'm very stoked for in the future. And this one caught my interest because it's a Giallo in sense, but it is not from Italy. And it is titled Masks. Yes. This is a German film directed by Andre Marshall, who's a director that I know of his work. I actually haven't seen any of his other films. I know he directed a film called Terrors of Kala, which I heard a lot about, but I actually haven't seen it. And he also directed a segment of German Angst, which is another film I haven't seen, which is like a German anthology film, which I will end up seeing down the line. It's just on the back burner of stuff to pick up. The main plot of this one, we're introduced to our main character of Stella, who's a struggling actress. As we see in the beginning of the film, she's in like an audition and she doesn't get the part. And what ends up happening is at the same place, she gets offered to join this private school for like stage acting, and she accepts and she ends up going there. And once she gets there, she finds out like the founder of this school used to do like these acts of like teaching in the 70s, which were kind of out there in the way of his teaching methods. Like the way it was described is he used like the mental stability of his students while they were performing and get their mentality out of them. And it was a very dangerous thing, as we hear in the film. There were a few deaths due to these teachings, and the founder actually killed himself. Now, once this is going on and Stella is getting settled into this school, she ends up befriending this girl, Cecile, who's a fellow actress. And we find out like later that these teachings actually still go on, but they're secretly, and you can't just ask to be part of them. You have to be asked. And once that happens, Cecile ends up disappearing, and then a few murders start happening also. And Stella is trying to figure out and find out what is going on in this school. And then, unbeknownst, she is asked to partake in these methods, and she accepts. And that is pretty much most of the plot that I'm going to give away until, that's it. That's won't want to really spoil much more for you. But my thoughts on this film is very beautiful shot film. Andre Marshall is very influenced by Giallo film, especially the works of Dario Argento, and it shows in like the way he shoots this film. There's a very great amount of color schemes that goes in through the film, and it's beautifully shot. And I gotta say, the soundtrack kills this movie. It is fucking outstanding. The soundtrack is done by I don't want to butcher his name. That's why I'm looking. Sebastian Leverman. Yes, and his score for this film is outstanding. Once you hear the main theme of this film, it is very iconic. It's as iconic as, like, say, Deep Red, Spasmo, Black Belly of the Tarantula. It's iconic as any, like, hardcore, like, famous Giallo theme. And it's up there. And the soundtrack is amazing, which this release actually comes with, so that's even more exciting because I can listen to the music whenever I want to. But yeah, Susan Emmerich as Stella does a phenomenal job in this film. She is a very great actress, and this role that she takes is a very interesting role because she is an actress learning to act in the film, and you see these emotions and the things that the characters do around her and with her is very interesting, and the way her character develops throughout the film is very outstanding. Now, the killer's weapon is very interesting. As you see in the cover, it's like this dagger-like object. It's not like the size of like a fencing sword, but it is pretty fucking big, and he does use it to his advantage in certain scenes, and there is some blood and gore in this film, but it's not too over like exaggerated. Like, it's not like your typical like German splatter gore. It's like very Giallo-esque in a way, but they linger on certain scenes and make you cringe in a way. And it works for the type of film it is. Now, this film runs hour and 40 minutes, like on that line level of that length. And I was just enthralled throughout it. It was really a spellbinding experience because the film actually did get more and more exciting as it went on. Like, there's a lot of cool things that happen in the beginning, but as the beginning dwells, it gets more into the story and in depth. You stay on the screen and want to know how this film will end. And the ending is kind of open-minded. It's kind of one you have to think about what really happens, but I kind of got the gist of the ending and the final scene of the film, and I really did enjoy this film, guys. It's one of my favorite watches of the year, and it's recommendable. If I had to rate Mass, I'm giving it a solid 9.5 out of 10. It's just a very great film, and it has a very great love letter to the early Giallos in its sense and the way it was shot and its soundtrack, and it has amazing acting in it. So 9.5 out of 10 for Mask. It's a fucking awesome film. I highly recommend it. Alright guys, that's it for day 6. I'll be back tomorrow with another review. I think I'm in a Giallo mood, so maybe another one for you guys. Let's do it. And as always, I'll see you then. Peace out.